So what's up, YouTube? It is Red back again with another video. So today, y'all, we're going to be talking about the difference between car ride and like rideshare versus having your own car. Now there's two differences. Now having your own car is good because you can get to and from work or to and from wherever at any time, any moment. All you gotta do is put gas or charge your car and boom, you can go to the location. You know, there's pros and cons to that, and there's pros and cons to going in rideshare, you know, going on an app like Lyft and Uber driver and, you know, requesting a ride. So this video is for people out there that's trying to debate if they want their own car or if they should continue to do rideshare, if they want to let go of their car and just do rideshare. Now, if you're the type of person where you're working from home and most of the stuff that you do is from home, or you don't really go out much, you don't really have friends, you don't really travel and stuff like that, I would recommend doing rideshare. I would not recommend having a car because, like I said, if you don't really have friends, if you don't really have family, if you're not really driving around, if you're not really going places, if you're the type where you get all your stuff delivered and you don't really run errands, you're more of a homebody, I would recommend not having a car. Just do rideshare, you know, because at that point, like, you're literally wasting money on a car. You're paying for car insurance, you're paying for a car note, and then, you know, you're paying for any type of car maintenance on it. And even if you're a female, like, most females don't know much about cars, so y'all don't realize that a lot of stuff about cars is expensive, especially if you don't got it like that, you know? So I would recommend car share especially if you move to a new city or a new state, new country or whatever. I would definitely recommend ride share, especially if you can walk to most places. Then it's not really a problem, especially when it comes to ride share. It should be pretty cheap, you know? You don't really gotta deal with much. A lot of pros to just having ride share, you know? It's safety, you know, if you're drunk, you're high, whatever the case may be, you got somebody driving you, especially if you're not a good driver, especially if you don't know how to drive in the state, city, or country you're in. Like, especially if you don't know how to drive the car, I would definitely recommend, you know, getting a fucking person to come pick you up and drop you off. Number two, like I said, you can sleep in a car, you can do whatever you want in a car. If you got to respond back to people, if you got to talk on the phone, you got a business to deal with or something, you can go in the car and just relax. You know, if you feel nauseous or whatever, that's a pro because you're not driving, so you're not dealing with none of that stuff. Number three, if you are a road rage driver or if you have like a very pent up anger when you drive and shit like that, I would recommend getting rideshare because you're gonna hate certain cities, certain countries because the traffic stops at all moments all throughout the day. So sometimes some people's traffic is worse than others depending on where you're visiting, and some stuff is just not worth having your own car. You might want to do rideshare, you might want to get a bicycle, you might want to walk. Another thing I would say with rideshare is that it could be cheaper than driving around in your car, because if you have a car, you're putting miles on it, you're having to put gasoline in it, you're having to charge it, you know, wear and tear depending on where you're going. With rideshare, you're literally using this person's gasoline. You're literally wearing and tearing this person's car. So this is not taking nothing out of your pocket. They get a flat tire while taking you somewhere, it's not coming out of your pocket. But if you get a flat tire driving to wherever the fuck you gotta go, you're going to have to pay for that out your pocket, and you're gonna have to probably pay for a tow truck. So there you go. Another thing I would say with rideshare is that is really good, especially if, like I said, if you're going to places that's close by and stuff like that, especially if it's 30-minute places or airports and stuff, people will definitely take your rides quick, so you're not waiting and you're not like spending a lot of money, you know, you're not spending as much money as you would having your own car, like I said. So, and you could do your own little thing, you can vibe out. Now having your own car, if you guys do get one, instead of doing rideshare, you got to think about the gasoline, like I said, wear and tear on your car. So you're gonna think about the inside of your car, cleaning it all the time, you know, maintaining the inside, maintaining the outside, you know, the tires and the air pressure, the oil changes, the engine, the transmission, you know, whatever else problems that could be going on with your car, you're going to have to deal with frequently. And it might be one-time thing, once a month, it might be once every 3 months, it might be once every 9 months. You never fucking know. Your wiper blades went out, you probably gotta go buy new wiper blades. A rock hit your windshield, now you gotta pay for a new windshield. You're trying to tint out your car, then you gotta fix 2 tires because they got nails in them, you know. Your rim messed up, a bunch of different things. Your transmission went out, you know, your car is not starting. You ain't got no gasoline in that hoe. The hoe's a gasoline guzzler. You know, some people get cars and you spending $200 on a car every day. You're literally paying for a car note, car insurance, and then whatever else comes with the car, and then the gasoline, bro. Oh no. If you got money like that and you're trying to save up, I would definitely recommend rideshare. Like, cars is for people that has a stability when it comes to money, and at least a certain amount. Because in this day and age, the economy is just getting worse. Like The fact that minimum wage is literally $7 an hour, especially in the state I'm in, that's fucked up. That's crazy. You know, I'm not getting paid $7 an hour, but there's probably people out there that's still getting paid $7 an hour, $10 an hour, and that's some change. You know, that's nothing to really afford in this economy, especially a car. Make sure you guys think thoroughly before you do get a car. If you're on to come up, make sure you think thoroughly before doing rideshare too, because there is cons to rideshare as well. You know, you got going in a car with strangers, somebody who want to kidnap you or do anything in there. You know, then also you don't know where they're dropping you off. You never know. Like, they could literally do something to you to where, you know. And then also, you don't know if they're gonna come back to your location. You don't know if they're gonna stalk you. Then you got ones that'll text you as soon as they drop you off, ones to talk to you and stuff. You know, you never know what's really going on with Uber drivers. You could get one that's pretending to be an Uber driver. You know, you never really know in this day and age. And there's also pros to having your own car. You know, you're safer. You're in your own car. You're not dealing with being in the car with somebody else or getting sick because you're using a car with somebody who was sick before you got in. You know, you're not dealing with having to depend on somebody else's driving, you know, and dealing with if a possible crash was to happen, or if, you know, you're not going to make it on time. Because I've been in the car with a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers, and they drive extremely slow. Like, coming up, I didn't get my very first car until I turned probably like 19 years old. That's when I got my very first car, when I graduated high school. And my parents gave it to me as a graduation present. I didn't have my first car when I was like 16, 17, 18 and stuff. So I literally had to Uber places. Like, I was using Uber before everybody probably started using it. And Lyft, I was using that shit when I was like 16. And that was probably like when it was like 2014. Maybe way before that. Maybe I was using it in like 2012. So I was using Uber, Lyft, and taxi cab. I was using taxi cab first, the yellow taxi that you had to call. And it was like a meter and you got to pay them in cash. And then when I found out about Uber, I finally started using Uber when it finally hit the area I was living in. But I didn't use it often because at that time, Uber wasn't really popular. So a lot of people were not driving on Uber. So to catch an Uber, it would probably take like 20 minutes, maybe 15. That's how slow it was back then. Now you can catch an Uber in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever the case may be, depending on where you live at and the time, you know. But it was way different back then. But make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below if you would rather car share or if you would rather be in a car with a stranger, or would you rather drive your own car? Me, I don't drive my own car, but sometimes I do get Lyft and Ubers because I'm going to clubs and stuff and I don't want to drive home. You know, they'll pick me up and drop me off, or in case I'm going somewhere or my car is in the shop or something like that, I'll definitely take it. But if it's not that, no.